I now have a better way of getting to the top. The ladder system gets me to the top. This is as high as I could build. And I can't build on this level. I can only just tear down what is up here. Am I going to tear it down? It depends. I have to wait for nighttime to see if mobs will spawn up here. If they don't, I don't want to build anything. I don't want to tear this down. If they do, on the other hand, then it won't matter and then I could put a farm up here or something. I may. My next task, see how to close this up. My next task, of course, is to dig down there, see how far down I can dig. But that is not important right now, right this very minute. The trees have been growing, but I desperately need iron. Iron must be acquired. And so it is important that I dig down. This is the next level. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I gotta dig 4 down. How far down does this go? I don't know. But I must I find out. Uh-oh. The problem is that there's a constant danger of falling. And if I fall with everything that I am carrying, three on the other hand is okay so long as I have enough ladders. I remember when I first entered the world of Minecraft. It was quite a revolutionary thing for its time. Those were very good days. In the old days, I took over from a predecessor. Now, people don't talk about predecessors, but there was one. There was a predecessor. Before Becker was that, there was somebody called Zoom. There we go. However, that does not look too far down. It looks like that shall be able to be utilized in future. Meanwhile, this will happen. He did all kinds of amazing and bizarre things, but they weren't very plausible or very interesting. And he had problems, and finally, after a while, I took over. It was very simple. I just showed up and moved into Zoom's old materials and houses and things. Most of them had been lost. He had moved frequently from place to place, and I'd only seen some of his older places. very badly constructed. Often I would abandon them myself because I didn't care for them. And then came the day when I desperately needed to build something of my own, and I set off, and it was quite fun. This was years before we started Mental Block. I forgot why I was going down to that basement. I was going down there so I could do some digging. Duh. So do some digging. I'd remembered when I took over from Zoom. It was not a good moment. It's like, what happened to Zoom? I always wondered what happened to Zoom. Perhaps he died, or perhaps he went missing. Perhaps he just wasn't... Maybe he just wasn't there anymore. Maybe he got taken by somebody and placed in an unusual place. A lost world of some sort. Well, now I know what happened. It is my opinion that the Zoom character, whom I had taken over from, this was before Mental Block was started, may well have been transported to a world like this one. It may well be that my purpose in being forced here, it may well be that that there is a purpose being worked out for me, and that it is that I must save and rescue Zoom from wherever he has gone. Zoom is a strange name. I've always wondered about the character. Who was this guy? I have no evidence of his identity or anything. Somebody told me he was an elf. I am suspicious of ideas like that. That is just silly. Very silly indeed. I would have to discount that as potentially false, or not provable, or something. But I've always wondered about the character, and I've always wanted to talk to him. I never met him, so I don't know if he was an elf or what he was. I've never seen elves in Minecraft, so I don't know what that's about. How could he have been an elf? But I'd heard stories. And that's all they really are, is just stories. They can't possibly be proven true. Whoops. Not iron. Is there any iron? Am I just too high up for the iron? This looks like it's getting nowhere. I'm gonna have to just get gravel, poke a hole somewhere, and just dig down with gravel. Have I got any gravel on me? Back at base? Let's see. Am I gonna even make these into rooms? No, this is just a temporary dwelling. I have no way to tell if there actually is any iron anywhere. Somebody's gonna say, use a texture pack. I'm like, no, I'm not going to use a texture pack. I've got 6 gravel. Is it enough? Might be. It might be enough. It might somehow be enough. Well, what I need is the cobble. All I need is the cobble. And I'll put it over here on the other side of this. There's the hole. How far down do you think that is? Well, I'm going to drop the gravel down it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. It's only made a dent in the way down. I'd still take damage. Still. A bucket of water would be helpful. Yeah, but who has a bucket of water? After a while I played... Or rather I should say, I traipsed about in worlds that formerly Zoom had occupied. Places where he had left some evidence of his existence. But it really wasn't very much evidence. There were no pictures, there was very little in the way of documents. And so I was left to my devices. I was upset at him. But it didn't matter because I was eking up my own existence. Then I started building palaces. I thought, it's my land, I'm going to build a palace because I'm a king. If there's nobody else in my land, I become the king of it. Because nobody tells me what to do. And that's how it was. I built palaces. And I never got very far with them before I'd find myself just giving up on it. There was always something wrong with it and I'd move to another land and each land was worse than the previous one. Too much was going to have to be done to build this palace every time. Why not try to make something simple where you could just use land that already exists? This counts as a palace in one sense. But I was having none of it. Heck, even now I have none of it. I'm going to build a bed here. The space for the bed is going to be here because I've decided that here is where it is going to be. Now to make a bed area, it's more complicated than you think. You don't just say, oh, make a 2x1 area with a little bit of space. No, it goes like this. You need to have a space where you can, where the bed is surrounded on all four sides with an open space. I don't think that torch would be a good idea either. And then what you do is you make sure it's at least 3 tall, because otherwise you might take damage. And that's it. There's your bed. Only I don't have a bed yet. But then what's going to be put in here? Maybe I'll put chairs or something in here. This is a temporary dwelling anyway. Down here is going to be my storage facility. Partly why I've dug the most for it. There will be a little bit more at this end. More coal! That's nice to know. That is very, very nice to know. It is a welcome relief. I was of the impression that if there could be coal up here, then there should also be able to be iron. I traveled to lands distant. Further distant, more distant, less distant. I went all over the place, searching for a good place to build a palace. Since I wasn't getting anywhere, I gave up and I decided I would just try to survive in a land. And for a time, I did. It was to be called Mental Block. Huh? Huh? I built a farm in Mental Block. in a place I called Mental Block. After that, I did some traveling around, and I settled down, hopefully with Darlene. I thought Darlene was the one for me. Anyway, never mind her. Or at least never mind her right now. I was very pleased with the life that was now apparently possible. It looked like I was going to be happy. We had a whole village of people to serve under us, as if we were royalty, but it didn't happen. They wouldn't serve us, and we had to protect them. It was more like we were superheroes. Darlene didn't make a very good superhero, for an entirely different reason. Had nothing to do with that. Eventually, we just built enough doors that the place was just filled up with villagers. Nothing. No iron. How much do we have left? 14. That's enough to start the chests, but it's not enough to go any further than that. What we need now is wood, yes. It is true that we need wood right now. We didn't think about Zoom because we had a new problem. An interloper named Morgus had turned up. I was quite happy. Hey, somebody else to talk to. But he rarely appeared. I'm not even sure he was there. Maybe he was never there. It was hard to understand what was going on. I began to think maybe he never was there. That the whole thing was an elaborate prank from somebody. Oh, you can travel down here. Oh, but this isn't very far down. Ultimately, this island does have its limits. Still no sheep. Not even an appearance of an iron deposit anywhere. That is a very bad sign. How far down do I have to go? How far down can we go? I don't see any iron there, but I see a lot of darkness. Darkness is bad. Very bad. Also, there's a lot of jumping. That is also bad, for different reasons. Will that pig be stuck up there forever? Who knows? Yeah, there's another one. I kept Darlene safe from Morgus, but Morgus wasn't necessarily a bad guy, but he was up to something. I always felt he was like megalomaniacal. Whether he was or not, I never found out. But I didn't want to find out. It would have been better. It would have been better if I had never found out. And I did not find out. For some time. I know this is a terrible attempt at lighting up a dark area. The object is not to do a good job. The object is to just do a sufficient job so that one can at least see the bad guys or the creatures as they turn up. And I do not see iron there either. Another strange tree of some sort. Shovel at the ready. Also, I need to make another shovel. He looks over this direction. Still doesn't see any sheep, but he can see in a great distance from where he is now. And still sees no sheep. 5 gravel. Will it be enough? Of course it won't be enough, you clawhead. Suddenly he decides to look over here and he can see underneath. That's where he put his tower of... And he sees he's going to need much more than 6, but that's not the point. He's got 13. It might be enough. But that's not important. The point is now he can see the area underneath, and it is populated with spiders, and who knows what else is down there. There is more water, or perhaps, no, it is not water. It is just bluish colored grass. He does not see any iron. Underneath that, if he got hit by a creeper or a skeleton, he'd be dead. Underneath that, though, seems to be more terrain with water flowing from somewhere. And there seems to be terrain even under that. How many levels are there? He still does not understand why it is he cannot get this stuff. What is that, an arrow? It's pointing south? Is it a sign from somebody who wants me to go south? Perhaps Zoom is that way. Is Zoom even in this world? Anyway, I must head back home. I must simply head back home. There is no point. We'll have to kill pig, though. Don't want to kill any pigs. I will need to make a farm. I have to bring animals up there, or have to go over to where animals actually are, or something. But I need... I need to go down. I need to see where I can go. Gravel at the ready. One more. One more. One more? One more. No, let's just do the whole thing. 3, 2, that's it. However, if anybody thinks I'm going to waste my time, was this in the correct direction? No, it's that way! Slight problem there. But easily gotten around. I didn't take the ladder with me, but then I couldn't have expected that I was going to actually get down here. There's a skeleton. I think I am just far enough from the ground that they won't hit me. But if one... and there's a creeper. And there are endermen. 3 of them, or possibly just 2 of them. I don't think there are going to be any sheep down here. I just see pigs. It could be that this biome does not allow for sheep, which might be a serious problem because it means I must go and find another biome. More traveling will be required, but before I could do that I need to go and see if this thing has a bottom. Can I jump up to that? No. It has all been very exciting, but still, no bed is making this very difficult. And I left my door open. And so what will come of it? It is nighttime falling again. At least I know who I am now. I am Becca Rosette. I'm not somebody named Steve. I'm not somebody named Zoom. I now know my purpose in life. To go and find he who came before. And bring him back with me, if possible. It is a wonderful thing. A wonderful task that has been set before me. To find out what happened to him. I will do it. I will do it. This shall be a wonder. A wonder that has been worked in the ages. That shall be remembered. I shall also find my way back. I shall, I tell you, I will! I will!